port authorities are bracing for a major impact. According to Port of Seattle Commissioner Ryan Culkins, there could be a 40% drop in vessels and container traffic the next few weeks.
The slowdown in tariff-related shipments has taken a surprising turn. Current data from shipment tracker Vizoon shows a nearly 50% decline in container bookings from China to the U.S. compared to last year. Starting today, any cargo shipping from China to the U.S. is subject to a 30% tariff, a significant reduction from the 145% tariffs imposed for the prior 6 weeks. As these tariffs start to impact the market, there are rumors that U.S. ports are witnessing fewer cargo vessels, leading the Port of Seattle to resemble a ghost town. Jessica Janner from our Verified team explores the accuracy of these claims. Port authorities are gearing up for serious repercussions. Ryan Culkins, the Port of Seattle Commissioner, warns that vessel and container traffic might decrease by 40% in the upcoming weeks. For now, however, the busiest port in the Western Hemisphere remains active, though it is preparing for a notable slowdown. Jean Soka, the Executive Director of the Port of Los Angeles, indicates that the Northwest Seaport Alliance anticipates an influx of 15 more cargo ships in the coming week between the Port of Seattle and Port of Tacoma, with 12 ships arriving from China. What started as minor delays has escalated into a significant silence across major U.S. ports, from Los Angeles to New Jersey and Savannah to Seattle. The flow of American commerce is facing severe challenges, with thousands of containers stranded. Truckers are feeling the financial strain, and retailers are experiencing turmoil, leading to what experts are labeling as the most significant shipping disruption since the pandemic began. It's essential to recognize that this situation is not just a slowdown. It's a collapse, and the outlook is worsening. The Port of Los Angeles has noted a 35% decline in incoming cargo, while Long Beach is closely following suit. Ships are skipping port calls, importers are canceling orders, and terminal operators are left with empty berths as containers accumulate without movement. At least 400,000 containers scheduled for arrival this month have not made it, with canceled voyages and rerouted cargo being common occurrences due to recent tariff escalations and the global anxiety they have generated. Jean Soka reiterates that trade with China is currently very limited, indicating a serious trade crisis unfolding. We're witnessing an unprecedented crisis in the shipping world. What started as a supply issue has spiraled into a huge demand problem. Who wants to ship goods into a chaotic situation? Who's willing to pay a staggering 145% tariff just to reach a market that might not even buy? So, ships are staying away, and the containers that do make it are stuck in limbo. Chassis are mixed up, rail terminals are clogged, and empty boxes are left stranded. It's the truckers who are bearing the brunt of it all. Before we get deeper into this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to support the channel. Truckers across ports, from Southern California to the Southeast, are facing a total collapse of freight availability. Independent operators are finding themselves with contracts they can't fulfill. Some are moving as few as 10 containers a week, drastically down from 50. Rates have plummeted to unsustainable levels. One dispatcher referred to it as a freight famine. Nav Gill, a fleet owner from Northern California, reported his business is handling 60% less cargo than it did just 2 months ago. Drivers are anxious, their paychecks are shrinking, but bills keep coming. But it's not just the truckers feeling the freeze, the issues are spreading inland. Logistics hubs in cities like Dallas, Chicago, and Kansas City are overwhelmed. Some places are overrun with containers, while others are sitting empty. Rail cars filled with cargo are caught in bottlenecks. In Kansas City alone, officials revealed that over 2,000 containers have been left unpicked for more than a week, with some critical items inside, like medical supplies and perishables, going to waste. Retailers are feeling the pressure and starting to panic. Big names like Walmart, Target, and Home Depot prepared by stocking up early, but their supplies were meant to last only through spring. Now, the steady flow is at risk of turning into a severe shortage. The National Retail Federation has already revised their expectations, predicting import volumes could drop by at least 20%. Some sectors, like clothing and toys, might even see heavier reductions. This means empty shelves, rising prices, and consumers feeling the pinch. For many retailers, the challenge goes beyond simply running low on goods. It's about rising costs. Import duties, storage fees, and penalties from delays are accumulating, and when it costs more to do business than what they can make, companies may shut their doors. Small retailers, in particular, are at a significant risk. Bankruptcy rates are soaring among businesses that rely on imports in states like California, Texas, and Florida. For example, a family-run furniture importer in Savannah shared that they had to scrap all shipments from China because new tariffs had doubled their costs. The owner lamented, "We cannot survive this," emphasizing their dire situation. This turmoil in trade has serious consequences, and yet Washington seems to be uninvolved or just sticking to the same ineffective strategies. Trump maintains that his tariff policies are successful, but insiders warn that the supply chain is falling apart. Economic analyses show that rising consumer prices are partly due to goods stuck at ports or facing exorbitant tariffs. In just 1 month, over 400,000 containers were canceled on the West Coast, leading to a loss exceeding $1 billion. This situation affects not only importers, but also dock workers, truck drivers, warehouse staff, and mechanics who depend on regular business. The ILWU, or International Longshore and Warehouse Union, has raised alarms about potential widespread job losses if cargo volumes don't bounce back. Less cargo means less work, said one local union president, noting that many workers are already facing reduced hours. This translates into financial strain on families as rental payments go unpaid and food budgets shrink. The trucking industry, represented by the North American Punjabi Trucking Association, is sounding the alarm as well. They warned that if conditions don't improve soon, mass bankruptcies could hit in less than 2 months. Yet, there's a lack of a unified response because everyone is pointing fingers. Trump blames China, China blames Trump, Democrats fault tariffs, and Republicans criticize regulations, all while the ports continue to struggle. Inland areas are feeling the impact too, with rising warehouse vacancies in places like Chicago and Atlanta. But it's not because business is booming, it's because freight isn't arriving. There's nothing being stored, moved, or sold. The situation is also creating a security crisis as containers pile up. Criminal organizations are now targeting freight yards, with theft of high-value items like electronics and cosmetics escalating by 40% in places like Los Angeles and New Jersey. Some companies are beefing up security, while others are simply throwing in the towel. Amidst this chaos, a new threat is emerging, as China and the US have made announcements that could further complicate matters. A temporary pause on tariff hikes sounds like good news, but it may lead to a whole new set of problems. Importers are eager to fill the ports again before this pause is over. That means the terminals, which were nearly empty last week, could soon be overflowing. Port officials are calling this a whiplash event, and logistics managers are deeming it unmanageable because the ports aren't equipped to handle it. There's a shortage of staff, equipment isn't in the right place, and truckers are struggling financially. If hundreds of ships arrive at once, we could see a massive shipping crisis unfold. This isn't just a theory, it's already happening. Freight forwarders are filling up shipping slots, and Chinese exporters are loading vessels. Some reports indicate that as many as 1,000 ships are lined up to dock in North America over the coming 6 weeks. This is set to be the biggest surge in imports we've seen since the pandemic. If the ports can't manage this influx, we risk a complete breakdown of the system. We're not merely facing delays. We could be looking at store shutdowns, layoffs, inflation increases, defaults on loans, and even the collapse of local trucking businesses, all while consumer trust wanes. The root of the issue is that substantive changes aren't being made. Tariff structures need revisiting. Port capacities should be expanded, and trade policies must reflect actual economic realities rather than political posturing. Unfortunately, that hasn't happened, leaving containers in limbo, trucks parked, and shelves starting to go bare. 10,000 containers may sound like just a number, but it represents much more. A warning. Each container holds vital goods, from paychecks and hospital supplies to construction materials. And when these vital supplies get stuck, the foundations they support start to erode. This chaos has significant implications, and if it continues, we'll face not just economic struggles, but also serious consequences.